Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Man and Superman. This is a one-shot. That's technically 4 issues that was supposed to happen back in 2006 or so, and it's only just now getting to us in one entire book at a very reasonable cover price, back cover price of $9. Excuse me, yeah, $9.99, $10 US. Very reasonable. On top of that, Marv Wolfman, who wrote the book, he's suggesting this is the best Superman story he ever wrote and one of the top 5 books that he's ever written. And I tend to agree. Let's get into this, guys. I may have already spoiled it that Marv Wolfman is the writer. The art is Claudio Castellini. Hi-Fi does the colors. The letters, Tom Orzechowski. Cover by Claudio Castellini and Alex Sinclair. And, of course, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Thank you. Thank you so much, and your family, for the creation of Superman and allowing the rights to continue because, goddamn. What do you call it? So this is more of a man than Superman book. This is legitimately, from beginning to end, this is a Clark Kent story. In fact, there are very select few times when the costume is even shown. Only one time is it actually shown on him, and it's a, I don't know if it's the first time that he ever wears it, but it's like one of the first times that he wears it. Come here, Bagley. You want to come up? Come on up. So it's gorgeous. Gorgeous book, man. The art in here is just beautiful. What's the matter, Baggy? You scared? Oh, because I'm not sitting. I'm not sitting the way that she wants me to sit with my legs crossed. So let me cross one of my legs. Please do not tear up my jeans. I only have but so many of them. And dude, this comic book, man, like this book, forget about it. See, I know you guys are more interested in Bagel than me. This is Clark with his first, of course, this is revised. This is not the standard Earth. This is just, essentially, it's an Elseworlds. It's an opinion piece. It's inspired, you know what I'm saying? And it's basically just Marv Wolfman's idea of how did Clark make the transition from Smallville to Clark and Superman? Because they're, the Clark Kent that we know in Metropolis is not nearly the same as the Clark Kent that exists back in Smallville. You know what I'm saying? Where he's handy, he knows what he's doing, he's a farm boy who can freaking handle himself, and then some. And then, mild-mannered, slumped shoulders, and all that crazy stuff, that we know while working in the Daily Planet. So we get his first meeting with all of the major players, including Lex Luthor. That's the one that he was alluding to, but didn't want to quite go into it. He is the bad guy in this. It's a very topological version of Lex. He's the bad guy in this. Yes, he does something bad. He does something stupid, and he's just, it's not a brilliant, it's not a very inspired Lex Luthor. It's just whatever. I guess he just wasn't expecting any kind of pushback. He was always the hero. I guess he the hero of Metropolis. I guess that he was expecting that in some way, shape, or form people would bow to him in the hero worship that he actually got, and through their adulation of him, they would overlook any flaws in his plans, and there were several. And Clark, aka Superman, soon to be Superman, he saw right through all that nonsense. He saw right through it all. So this is going to show a lot of Lex's fear and hatred. This part was great with Lex. His fear and hatred of Superman, where it all came from, the root of it all. And all the excuses that would follow thereafter. He's an alien and I'm actually human. Well, it's a matter of opinion. But you get to see a lot of firsts. Why did Lois actually fall in love with him? Why did he fall in love with her? All right? Where did that infatuation on both sides actually come from? And you get to see hints of both of those, with Clark especially. But, Clark's point of view. All of this, for the most part, is Clark's point of view. We get to see him in a state of weakness that sometimes we just don't get the chance to see. It's very rare to see Superman feeling helpless. Well, this is him not knowing what's going on, and he's more of a flying Batman than anything else. That's one of the interpretations I got out of this. And he's just, like, all the mistakes that he makes. And, of course, this is essentially a modern-day version of Superman, because origin story for Superman modern day, as opposed to back in the day when newspapers were something special. even in 2006, especially today, newspapers don't mean a damn thing. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, like, it's your parents who would say, you're between jobs. You should go and get the want ads. Like, do you know how many websites there are to find jobs? Like, I'm just saying. Nobody uses a damn newspaper to look for. Come on now. Come on now. Want ads. So, just the idea that a newspaper even exists is just one of those things that you have to kind of let go. But this is a time period where people will have camera phones and things along those lines, and it's going to be really hard to not be seen, to not be noticed. So we actually see him doing some things that he shouldn't be doing. He's trying to cover up his mistakes that could lead to his identity. We're talking about fingerprints in here at one point. There's a lot to digest in this comic book, and I'm telling you, since this didn't come out in 2006, instead it came out 13 freaking years later, I do wish that it were more updated, because if the only way this comic book could possibly be better, in my opinion, is if it was a 2019 comic book as opposed to a 2019 release of a 2006 book that never actually made it to the shelves. You can read things within their time frame. I understand there's going to be a lot of kids who aren't going to get the idea of, what do you mean there's no internet? It's like, what do you mean there was no cell phones? Like, not just, no, I know that there was a time when you couldn't really take good video or pictures on your cell phone and they didn't have music on them, but you still had phones in your pockets, right? No. No, we had a little black address book where we kept phone numbers and things like that, because you actually had to memorize phone numbers, and sometimes if you had too many, well, you get the gist. Nah, man. Nah, like, this did unfortunately feel a little bit dated. Like, there were security cameras. Awesome. Something that, for the most part, were unheard of back when Superman's creation, came out. Plus, they probably wouldn't have even acknowledged things like that. It would have been much cooler if everybody would have been able to pull out their cell phones and, take the smartphone pictures, whatever, and things like that. If DNA evidence was more prolific instead of just fingerprints. I mean, that's the only way I think this book could have been better. I mean, I love the art inside this book. I love the stock that is used, the paper that's used for the comic book itself. It's very hard to find a flaw in a book like this. It's a really good story. It's not just one of those. When I look at this, I'm thinking to myself, oh, it's going to be one of those, lovey-dovey type books where it's just going to be, it's hard being Superman. Yeah. Because any of us can relate with how hard it is to be bulletproof, to be freaking cannon-proof, to be able to, fly and throw battleships and go into space and just all sorts of crazy things like that. Yeah, it's so hard, This was more like it skipped that. It ignored that. It wasn't that important. Rather, it's about Clark trying to fit in a land that he's not familiar with. You see him make these different mistakes, like moving to an apartment building where he's like, oh yeah, it's should be pretty cool. Wait, they said there was going to be a great view. They said it was a safe neighborhood. What's going on? And it's actually like, I think he's living in Suicide Slum section of Metropolis, for crying out loud. Like, it's bad. And he's learning all these little ins and outs, the difference between city life and country life. This ain't Kansas no more, Toto. So it's there's a lot in the book as far as him adjusting to his new life, him trying to get in with the Daily Planet, and where he actually started first, as far as newspapers and other jobs that he's got. There is a part in here where he gets inspired to do good things by hanging out with an immigrant, which is perfect, because technically that's exactly what Superman is. In fact, Superman is more of an immigrant than any of us. You know what I'm saying? And it fits with his story. It perfectly fits the mold. So pretty much, like I said, every single thing, and nothing gets overbearing. It's like, oh, hey, such and such and such, moving on. I can't imagine anybody. Actually, I guess I can imagine some people, anybody who's got a triple digits IQ. I can't imagine anybody like that dwelling on anything that happens in this book as far as social justice or social commentary or something like that, because there's, again, the things are barely touched on and they move on. um, the art in this is perfect. It almost feels like it's going to sound campy, but it almost feels like the artist was Castanelli, uh, was made, not Castanelli, sorry, Castellini, excuse me, was made for this. You could see in here certain parts where he's looking at his costume and his parents aren't there. They're not dead, but he's got the ghost image of his parents, the memory of them telling him, hey, make sure that when you get there you do this and this and this. And we actually get to see their points of view at certain points. There's moments in here where he screws up, like where a building gets blown up, and he'll have to decide for himself. It looks like everything's under control. It'll only get more distracting if I jump in there. And I mean, that's something where it's like, usually it's just some kind of a problem. Superman flies in and takes care of it. There's so many times when we see that OP side of Superman where he's talking to somebody, having a conversation with another hero, and then he'll come back and be like, sorry, yes, I agree, blah, blah. And somebody will say, did you just leave? Oh, yeah, there was just a building fire down there. I just had to go take care of it really quick. But I heard everything you were saying, and yeah, just go on, please. You were saying such and such. It's like, dude, come on. Come on, man. Like those are funny once in a while, but fortunately you're not going to get that in this comic book. You get a Superman who, his main weakness, there's no kryptonite in this book. His main weakness in this book especially is his self-doubt. He's not sure. Should he even be doing this? Does he want to wear this stupid costume? He doesn't even know what the stupid symbol, S symbol, S-looking symbol on his chest means right now. Instead, the only reason why he's wearing it is because something that his mother says to him, his, adopted mother, Martha, which is perfect. It's perfect. So, again, finding flaws in this. Good luck. Good luck. I loved this, and it's a weird thing, but I feel like this is the book more than anything else that I would love if I ever got the chance, fingers crossed, to meet Mr. Marv Wolfman. I would love for this to be the book that he signs more than any of the other books that I always thought, okay, this should be the book that I'm going to a comic convention. Oh, and he's going to be there. Awesome. So let me bring this. No. I think I got my book. This is a perfect one. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.